Sanwo-Olu will be finishing his tenure next year, and I think that Kwara State Governor will also be finishing his tenure next year. If also I can remember, Buni, the governor of Yobe, I think so, will be finishing his tenure next year, and a host of other governors, will be finishing their tenure next year on the platform of the African Democratic Congress. So yes, so they met with the president yesterday, although details were not disclosed to the media as to why they met. So I believe that it is in connection with the 2027 presidential election, because campaign has kicked off, but we have no political party has started touring the state in their usual manner, like they used to do, and last week Saturday morning last week, the APC announced list of leaders that will be the APC last week Saturday came out with list of appointees ahead of the presidential election for that party last week. Those that will be in charge of the various geopolitical zones, those that will be in charge of women affairs, youth, communication directorate, executive director to this, executive director to that, youth, mobilization, everything that has to do with mobilizing people to vote for the APC in the 2027. And the Director General of the Presidential Campaign Council, Senator Abdulaziz Yari, was appointed as the Director General of the Presidential Campaign Council on the platform of the APC. So that is that. And based on the reports, according to report, because it is believed that Yari had what it takes, to mobilize people, to make connections, put one or two calls together, and bring people together, set the sail running, set the sail for the presidential campaign. Yes, so it is election period. We might not expect a lot of fireworks that we witnessed in 2023, because this is a re-election, whereby, what I mean by re-election, but although is a general election, but it's not an election whereby the incumbent president is finishing his second term. No, but the incumbent president is seeking for re-election. Okay, it's not a fresh election for the ruling party. It's just a re-election time, for the ruling party, and also the opposition party. It is the same people that were in the ballot last election in 2023 that are still on the ballot. The Obi of the Peter Obi of Labour Party, as a then, who is now in the NDC, the Atiku Abubakar, then who was on the ballot for the PDP in 2023. Now Atiku Abubakar is now on the ADC, on the ballot, representing the flag, is now the flag bearer for the African Democratic Congress. So you've seen that in Nigerian politics, there is nothing is predictable, nothing is constant. Peter B, that was on the platform of the Labour Party in 2023, within a short period of 2 years, Peter B has decamped. Peter B left the Labour Party and pinched his tent on the platform of the ADC, African Democratic Congress, and in less than 6 months or so, in less than 6 months, Peter B left the NDC. Sorry, he left the ADC to the NDC. So this is in opposition politics in this country. Nothing is constant. That is what you must understand. Those that are in the opposition, don't expect them to be there for a long time. Particularly those in the opposition, because they are the ones that are unstable. Those in the opposition, the politicians who are in the opposition are those that are unstable. But those because I doubt if any senator, who contested on the platform of the All Progressive Congress in 2023 have decamped to the opposition. I doubt. I stand to be corrected. But I've not seen any. I've not seen any senator, although they might. If senators at all are decamping, out of 10 you will find one senator from the APC leaving the APC to to the opposition party, either PDP, NDC or ADC or Labour Party or APM or PRP or NNPP. I doubt. I stand to be corrected. But it is those people who are in the opposition in the National Assembly. You find them either a senator or a lawmaker was in Labour Party. He contested on the platform of the Labour Party. Then he now decamped to the NDC or the ADC or the SDP or the Accord Party. So hardly will you find politicians, on the platform of the APC, on the ruling party, on the platform of the ruling party, decamping to the opposition party. Hardly will you find that, such move. It is those people who are in the opposition party, that are unstable, because they're looking for relevance, they're looking for influence, they're looking for popularity, and they want to find a platform where they'll be more popular than they were in their previous political party. You understand? All right, so this is Ken, the political god. Okay, I like to be called the political god. All right, so that would be my name from today, Ken, the political god. All right, now, yes, so there is a group, in that story that I read earlier this morning. There is a group in the country that is trying to come out with a name called the G100. Okay, now the G100 is codenamed the G100, whereby those political parties in the opposition, there are 6 major political parties that are in the opposition: the Nigerian Democratic Congress, the African Democratic Congress, the Allied People's Movement, the Social Democratic Party, the People's Redemption Party, and the sorry, I forgot PDP. My God, the People's Democratic Party. All right. Now there is a group that is organizing a summit whereby leaders in these 6 opposition parties will come together to form an alliance ahead of 2027 presidential candidate. Leaders in these 6 opposition parties will come together to form an alliance ahead of 2027 presidential election. And if you tune in earlier on while I was analyzing the stories this morning, I did say that hardly, it will be very, very difficult. Hardly, even if at all, the 6 geopolitical, I keep saying geopolitical, the 6 opposition parties, if at all, the 6 opposition parties, come together to form an alliance to say that, okay, we want to have a sole candidate. We want to collapse into one structure whereby the 6 of us, we will tell our members to vote for this particular candidate. The candidate does not have to leave the party, because I don't think there's time for candidates to move to the other party, because names of candidates have already been submitted to INEC, and INEC have already or are still publishing names of political candidates on their website. So it is late. So what they can do, what the G100 can do August 31st is that if at the end of the day they come up with, they form an alliance, and these 6 opposition parties agree to step down for one individual. Remember, we have Atiku Abubakar on the platform of the African Democratic Congress. We have Peter Obi on the platform of the Nigerian Democratic Congress. There is Adebowale Adebayo, if I get his first name correctly, Adebayo on the Social Democratic Party. Seyi Makinde, Seyi Makinde on the Allied People's Movement, and Seyi Makinde, who is on the camp of the Tanimu Turaki-led PDP faction. He is merging with, he has formed an alliance with Allied People's Movement. That's Seyi Makinde. This individual, what was his name? Donald Duke on the People's Redemption Party. So yeah, People's Redemption Party is coming out for the presidency. So if this 5, among these 5 presidential candidates that I've mentioned, Tinubu, Obi, Atiku, Seyi Makinde, Donald Duke, Adebowale, and there are 5. Okay, Duke, Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, Adebowale, yeah, and there are 5 now, right? Yeah, there are 5. Duke, Peter Obi, Adebowale, Atiku, and Seyi Makinde. If the 5 of them would decide to say, okay, out of the 5 of us, let us have somebody among us that will mobilize our members in our respective parties to vote for. If it is possible, if they can come to that arrangement, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening because, like I said earlier, this should have been something that have taken place earlier this year. But peradventure, if it happens, have it at the back of your mind. This is the political God is telling you this. Have it at the back of your mind that Atiku Abubakar will not step down for anybody. He will not step down for anybody. Atiku Abubakar will not step down for Peter Obi. Neither will Peter Obi step down for Atiku Abubakar. Then the other ones, Seyi Makinde, Adebayo, and Donald Duke. Those ones, okay, they can say, right, let us step down for any of these 2 that I mentioned earlier. But I don't see them doing that because they feel that, well, they have what it takes. They feel that, well, if Atiku has what it takes, I too have what it takes. They don't see themselves less than the other 4. One will not see himself less than the other 4. The other 4 will not see themselves less than the one that that may that may emerge. So have it at the back of mind. Yes, so we will keep our fingers crossed till August 31. We'll keep our fingers crossed till August 31 if that summit will even hold. All right. And I doubt if the likes of Atiku will be in that summit. I doubt if Peter Obi can be in that summit, so just to show himself. But I doubt if he is interested in forming an alliance, because the whole essence, when this coalition of a thing started in the media, when the likes of Dele Momodu, the likes of Rotimi Amici, the likes of Peter Obi. Remember Dele Momodu was once in the PDP. So when the likes of Dele Momodu, Amici, Atiku, Peter Obi, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, when they were all clamoring for coalition. Oh, so as at then we were thinking, oh, okay, let's see. Even the likes of what's his name? This professor, respected professor for that matter, Pato Tony. Even when they were all clamoring they were going to form a coalition, that will unseat the president in 2027, we were all saying, okay, all right, now these people are now getting serious. But at the end of the day, we're all seeing political parties, this individual identifying themselves in this political party, and we were like saying, Because when Peter Obi late last year, I think it was December 31st or December 30, publicly, left the Labour Party and joined the African Democratic Congress, and Atiku, I think earlier than that, was unveiled as a member of the African Democratic Congress, and also Amechi too, publicly left the APC and joined the African Democratic Congress. So we were all saying, okay, now we are having these big wigs. We are having this big wig. Also, initially, earlier than that, this former state governor of Kaduna State, the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, also left the APC and joined, I think it was a mistake then, and joined the Social Democratic Party. Although I don't know if he still if they still recognize him as a member of that party. So when these big wigs who fell out from the APC, who fell out from the APC. Amechi was in the APC. Amechi was a minister on the platform on during Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Nasir El-Rufai, left, finished his tenure as governor of Kaduna State on the platform of the APC. So when the likes of Amechi left APC, Nasir El-Rufai left APC, and other prominent political figures left the APC. They now identify themselves as those in the opposition when they left the APC. So we were not saying, oh wow, okay, they're going to give Tinubu and the APC a run for their money, in 2027. But at the end of the day, when challenges started happening in this political party, particularly the ADC, we started seeing some people who were so energized joining the ADC. We started seeing them pulling out. When Peter Obi officially declared to run for the presidency after he joined the ADC, we started seeing, okay, we are having Peter Obi, Atiku in the ADC, Rotimi Amici in the ADC. So we were excited to an extent. Even I myself, I'm like, okay, because I'm a kind of person that I like competition when it comes to democracy, because what gives democracy that vibrancy is when you see those in the opposition being active, when you see those in the opposition here and there doing things, issuing out statements, stepping on toes on the ruling party, criticizing, giving out press release, talking about the economy policy of those of the ruling party. So when I started seeing the vibrancy of the NDC as a major opposition bloc in the country, I got excited, and I generated interest to see how these bigwigs, to see how these individuals, to see how these political animals could let's see what they will be able to come up with. But at the end of the day, when they started having leadership crisis, when ADC, when the ADC, was dragged to the court by another leader in the ADC of saying that the David Mark led leadership and all the candidates or all the people that they brought in as a result of that David Mark leadership, that those candidates will not be contesting, and people began to drift, from the party. But at the end of the day, the court now gave it verdict, substantiating David Mark, saying that the election of the emergence of David Mark and the principals of the ADC, that the emergence, was valid. So, and when in the heat of that crisis in the ADC, Peter Obi left the ADC. It was not even up to 6 months when Peter Obi joined the ADC, and he left. And he found another party, the Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC. So, like I said earlier, there's a possibility that this alliance that is coming up, this summit, that's the G100, this summit that is coming up on the 31st of August, there's a possibility that nothing will happen. These two figures, Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar, there's a possibility that they will not form an alliance, because Atiku, that I know, will not step down for Peter Obi, and Peter Obi, that I know, will not step down for Atiku, because if it would have been possible, okay, because that was what led to Peter Obi leaving the ADC, saying that he will not allow himself to be he will not succumb himself to a process that is not free and fair as regards to the NDC selection of his presidential candidate. So Peter Obi knew that Atiku would emerge as a presidential candidate. That was why he left. Okay, Peter Obi knew that Atiku will emerge as the ADC presidential candidate. That was why he left, to secure his presidential candidacy in another party, and it was given to him on a platter. It was not by election, it was by consensus. So the leaders in that party, that's on the platform of the NDC, agreed, okay, we are giving this man an opportunity to represent us in the 2027 general election. So assuming Peter Obi would be somebody that will be a vice presidential candidate to Atiku, all this G100 will not have been possible, will not have hold, will not be talking about it. Okay, and also assuming Atiku will step down for Peter Obi on the platform of the ADC, it wouldn't have been possible, because it is already late. Okay, what will happen, what the event that is coming up on the 31st of August is already late. Like I said earlier, this would have happened since. Okay, this would have happened since, if these two political figures had it in mind then that, okay, I can step down for this particular individual, then it would have been done. But I don't see that thing happening. August 31 on Monday, I don't see that thing happening. And if it happens at all, Atiku will not succumb to any of these political candidate, presidential candidates in this other four opposition parties. Atiku will not succumb to them. Atiku will not succumb to that. All right, so that is what I have to say this morning. Okay, so we just want to keep our fingers crossed here, like we always do here on Political Update, trying to update you on what is going on. So as soon as that summit holds and it is concluded, whatever events that whatever decision that was made in that summit, I will personally bring it to you here on Tuesday. That will be the 1st of September 2026. The Political Update here in the studio here on Overt Radio. It is 43 minutes gone past the hour of 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock, Bukola Olowol Affair will be here for the news update. We're trying to wrap up the Friday edition here, the Friday edition of Overt Radio Breakfast Show. We want to say a very big thank you to our sponsors, Life Back Pharmacy and Stores, Market House of Ogama QS Soft Gel as an anti-malaria, and they are also the Market House of Swedish Bitters. Swedish Bitters is a total health, body rejuvenating like a syrup. It's a Swedish bitter is good for the body. All right, so thank you, Lagos, for joining me. Thank you for spending your breakfast with me here this morning on Overt Radio. I want to say a very big thank you for all those who are watching us live. Watching us live on our YouTube channel, Overt Radio Live, and those who are listening to us on our platform zeno.fm/radio/Overt Radio. We urge you to share that link to your various contacts on WhatsApp and your WhatsApp statuses, so that they can benefit from what you are hearing. They can benefit from the education, from the information, from the entertainment that we have been dishing out, to all of you here in the studio. So a very big thank you for spending your breakfast here with me this morning. I started since 8 o'clock, and man, I'm going home, man. I'm going home. I need to rest, man. All right, Lagos. But 11:30 this morning, Bookie Daisy and I will be here for trend table. Yes, a lot of things have been trending on social media, and so Bookie Daisy and I will be here from 11:30 to about 1 o'clock or 1:30 to give you what is trending on social media. Talk about relationships, those in the Nollywood, in the Hollywood, everything that is trending in trending topics here on social media. And Bookie Daisy and I will be here 11:30 for Trend Table. All right. So guys, thank you very much. God bless you. If you want to play this weekend, play responsibly. If you want to drink responsibly. If you want to party responsibly. And the Premier League, the football season has started. All right, the football season. Yeah, so the German Bundesliga is starting this weekend. So yeah, the German Bundesliga is starting this weekend. So also next week Thursday we are starting a program here. Myself and a friend of mine, Edu, will be joining me here for football talk. We'll be talking about everything that has to do with football, both here in Nigeria, the season, of course, the football season. So Thursday, 11 to 12 p.m. every Thursday, I'll be talking about football. It is going to be between me and Edu. Of course, you will know him when he comes. Okay, thank you very much, Lagos, Nigeria, Africa, Europe, America, and the rest of the world. 10 o'clock, Bukola Olubolafe News Update.